Our first episode starts off 3 years ago. 3 years ago from what, though? I'm not sure. A fleet of warships are stationed at Jeju Island off the coast of South Korea. The Hunters Guild has been tasked with raiding this island to exterminate an army of gigantic killer ants. Hunters going to an island to fight a species of super ants. Hunters are a group of men and women armed with swords, shields, and magic, but most of them are no match for these monster ants. Fortunately, they get saved by 3 way more powerful hunters. These are S-rank hunters, each one capable of taking on a whole army of ants by themselves. Nearby, the S-ranked leader of Precious Hunters Guild, Choi Jong-ain, watches the battle with pride before launching a massive fireball attack. Roasted ant anyone, hello. So, here's a little backdrop. 10 years ago, gates to an alternate dimension suddenly began popping up all over the world. Magic beasts that are immune to all conventional weapons start pouring out of the gates and causing mass destruction. But at the same time the gates started appearing, magical combat abilities began to awaken in some humans, who became known as hunters. Hunters can either work independently or join a guild for more structure and stability. The aptly named Hunters Guild is the biggest guild in Korea. Additionally, hunters are ranked based on their power level, from the legendary S ranks we just saw all the way down to the much weaker E ranks. Whatever power level you awaken at is the one you're stuck with, because there is no way to increase your magical abilities. At least, no way that anyone has discovered yet. So, now we're jumping to 3 years after the raid on Jeju Island, where a group of hunters are preparing to enter a gate and explore the dungeon within. See, when a gate appears, if hunters don't enter it and defeat its boss within 7 days, the gate will break and monsters will begin flooding our world. Interestingly, inside the gates they can find valuable essence stones that can be used to make magical weapons and armor. The stones also provide a limitless source of clean energy, so the government is willing to pay quite a bit for them. Anyway, the hunters are preparing to enter the dungeon when our protagonist Sung Jin-Woo enters. Nicknamed the weakest hunter of all mankind. Sounds harsh. As his nickname implies, Jin-Woo is an E-ranked hunter who is especially weak even for the bottom rank. He got his nickname after he was hospitalized in an E-rank dungeon, which is supposed to be the easiest level of dungeon that even children could clear. The other hunters are actually pretty nice to Jin-Woo though, including his B-rank healer friend Lee Ju-hee and the raid's older team leader Mr. Song. See, each dungeon has its own rank on the same scale as the hunters. This one is only a D rank, but inside the dungeon we get a first-hand look at just how weak Jin-Woo is. He struggles against a single low-level goblin, breaks his dagger, and gets stabbed in the chest. Wow, they were not kidding. Jin-Woo has to be saved by another hunter and healed by Ju-hee. While he's sitting on the sidelines, the team manages to defeat the dungeon's boss, a giant werewolf. Ju-hee tells Jin-Woo that he has to be more careful and pretty much implies that if he's this weak, maybe being a hunter isn't the right job for him. Damn, when your friend is telling you it's time to quit, maybe you should listen. The hunters count up their loot and are disappointed to see they barely got any essence stones. Just then, one of the hunters notices a tunnel leading deeper into the dungeon. This means they are in a rare double dungeon. They're technically supposed to report this to the Hunters Association before entering, but they don't want to give other hunters a chance to nab the essence stones inside. They take a vote on entering, and it's a dead tie with Jin-Woo as the deciding vote. He knows he won't even be able to help in this next dungeon, and his friend Ju-hee wants to leave, but bro does not have it easy at home. His dad is missing, his mom is sick and needs expensive treatment, and on top of all of that, it's all on Jin-Woo to pay his younger sister's college tuition. He really needs the money, and votes to explore the second dungeon. Big mistake, Jin-Woo. Ju-hee tells Jin-Woo he's an idiot for taking a risk like this, but says he can make it up to her by taking her out to dinner sometime. The hunters come to a massive set of stone doors and enter what looks like some kind of ceremonial chamber. The doors slam shut behind them, and as soon as a hunter tries to reopen it, a giant stone statue comes to life and slaughters him. Another statue shoots a massive beam from its eyes that incinerates multiple hunters. Jin-Woo shoves Ju-hee out of the way to save her life, but he has a bad feeling that this may be the final raid for humanity's weakest hunter. Episode 2 starts, and the hunters are all completely freaking out, including Ju-hee, who is paralyzed with fear and unable to heal any of her wounded comrades. Who's useless now? Little Miss Healer? Team leader Mr. Song lost an arm in the attack, but the guy is actually a great leader and doesn't even let that faze him. Mr. Sung tries to calm everyone down and tells them that the statue's attacks seem to be triggered by movement. Then, Jin-Woo reads a stone tablet on the wall that says the hunters must prove their faith if they want to leave alive. Jin-Woo tells everyone to bow down to the largest statue, and it works. If his goal was to make things even worse, the giant statue starts grinning and stands up from his throne. The big fella starts stomping across the room, crushing hunters left and right. Brutal. Jin-Woo sees some statues around the room holding instruments and realizes they must be the safe ones. He orders the survivors to each run to one of the musician statues and drags Ju-hee, who is still in shock. It turns out only one person is allowed at each statue, so Jin-Woo has to run all the way across the chamber to the only safe statue left. He reaches it but loses a foot in the process. Outside, Jin-Woo's younger sister Gina is visiting their mother in the hospital. Mom is in a coma and she's suffering from the most anime-sounding condition I've ever heard of, eternal sleep disease. Basically, she's permanently asleep and the doctors have zero clue why. I guess nobody really needs science anymore in a world with match in the dungeon. The survivors all move to an altar in the middle of the room. As soon as they're all there, the doors swing open and the statues start approaching. Jin-Woo believes the open door is a trap and insists that everyone stay on the altar to prove their faith. But these guys aren't about to take orders from the weakest hunter of all mankind, and they all run straight for the door, leaving only Jin-Woo, Ju-hee, and Mr. Sung. Every time someone leaves the altar, the doors close a little bit more, so Mr. Sung says that one of them will need to stay behind to keep them open. As the kick-ass team leader he is, Mr. Sung offers to stay behind himself, but that won't work since Jin-Woo is down 1 foot and Ju-hee is still in no condition to carry him. Jin-Woo tells Ju-hee that he will keep his promise of buying her dinner and hands her the one essence stone he was able to collect. Then, Mr. Song carries Ju-hee out, leaving Jin-Woo alone to face the statues. The statues torture and mutilate Jin-Woo while he curses himself for his own weakness. His bloody, broken body lands right on top of the altar when a strange message suddenly appears in front of him. It asks Jin-Woo if he would like to become a player, since the other option seems to be dying horrifically. He hits yes.